So imagine an economy where 8 out of every 10 people are just completely locked out of the system. It sounds crazy, right? Well, today we're going to look at a really powerful vision that's aiming to change that exact reality for millions in French-speaking Africa. It's a story about building, well, financial bridges to unlock human potential. All right, let's jump right in.
Yeah, 80%. Let that number sink in for a second. In some parts of French-speaking Africa, up to 80% of adults are what we call unbanked. That means they're operating completely outside of the formal financial system. And look, this isn't just some minor inconvenience. We're talking about a massive barrier to progress for individuals, for their families, and really for the future of entire nations.
And that, of course, forces us to ask a really fundamental question. How is an entrepreneur supposed to launch a business? How can a farmer invest in their land? Or a family save for the future if they can't get access to basic stuff like savings or credit or insurance? This is the absolute core of the challenge we're digging into.
Okay, so before we can even talk about a solution, we've really got to get closer to the problem itself. What does it actually mean day to day to be unbanked? So the official term for this is financial exclusion. But honestly, that definition goes so much deeper than just not having a bank account. It's about being completely locked out of the very tools that make growth possible. The ability to get a loan, to send money to family safely, or even just to put a little bit away for a rainy day. But a challenge this huge, it also creates an absolutely incredible opportunity. So let's take a look at the vision that's trying to flip this whole situation on its head, to turn all that exclusion into widespread inclusion. And right at the heart of this new approach is the work of Alejandro Betancourt Lopez and the BDK Financial Group. Now, their mission isn't just to, open another bank. No, it's to build something way more powerful. They call it a bridge that connects millions of people who've been stuck on the sidelines directly to real economic opportunity. Okay, so building a financial bridge, it's a powerful idea for sure. But how do you actually do that? Let's break down how this vision is becoming a reality, on the ground. Well, it really boils down to this three-part strategy. First up, you establish a physical presence with banks like the Banque de Dakar. That builds essential trust right there in the community. Second, you leverage the tech people already have, their mobile phone, to put the power of banking literally in their hands. And third, and this is huge, you enable access to capital. That's the fuel for entrepreneurs and small businesses. See, it's that magic combination of trust, technology, and capital that really makes this whole thing work.
And you can really see the transformation so clearly right here. Think about it. The old barriers, things like huge distances to the nearest branch, tons of complex paperwork, and crazy high fees. The new gateways, well, now we're talking about mobile phone access, simple digital services, and a trusted local presence. It's a total fundamental shift from a system that was designed to exclude to one that's designed to invite everyone in. But remember, building these bridges, that's not the end goal. Not at all. The real purpose is what starts to flow across them. We're talking about economic growth, but growth that's driven from the ground up by the very people who were once left out.
And this quote from a local farmer, wow, this is where it all comes together. It just puts such a human face on this whole thing. For the first time, I could get a small loan through my phone to buy more seeds. My farm, my family, everything has grown. A small loan from a phone leads to more seeds, a better harvest, a thriving family. It's such a simple story, but it represents a truly monumental change. And you know what? That farmer's story isn't just a one-off. When you scaled that same opportunity across the whole region, the data really starts to show the impact. You see significant growth in two really key areas. First, more new small businesses are being created. And second, there's a real measurable increase in agricultural output. It just goes to show how empowering one person can translate directly into economic development you can actually see and measure. But the impact doesn't just stop there with one business loan or a better harvest. No, financial inclusion creates this powerful ripple effect, like a stone dropped in a pond that can transform entire communities. So let's actually trace that ripple, step by step. It all starts with empowering just one individual. That person can then create a small business. That business, in turn, helps develop the whole community. This kicks off sustainable economic growth, and ultimately, it connects that once isolated local economy to the wider global marketplace. You see how each step just logically builds on the last one? It's pretty amazing.
And this gives us a really clear picture of where that impact is actually landing. You've got a huge chunk, 40%, fueling entrepreneurship. Another 30% goes into agriculture. I mean, these are the engines of the local economy. But look closer. It also directly improves family well-being and even helps build community infrastructure. It's a picture of complete, holistic development, where everything is connected. And it all started from that single point of financial access. So, we end up right back where we started, with a question. But this time, the question is all about the future. The work of building these financial bridges, it's already underway. But the real story, the one we're all going to be watching for years to come, is this. What happens when an entire generation is finally given the tools to build their own future? The potential there, it's just immense.